welcome to my YouTube channel. Back with another one. This is Great Minds Tutorials, and it's your favorite tutor, Hodiso. All right, so in this episode, I'm gonna be giving you a much more detailed and explanatory, where I'm gonna be explaining in full details and not doing a simple program like this one where I'm sorting out. I'm gonna be using what we call uh I'm gonna be using what we call a bubble sort. So I'm gonna try and use a bubble sort in order for me to sort out this piece of code. So in order for me to use a bubble sort, I will need to not use this method. I'm gonna have to use a longer method. So in a bubble sort, what I'm gonna be doing now is that I'm gonna be coming up with what you call a temporary value, give it a 0. Then at this moment, I'm going to have a nested for loop. The first for loop is going to be int I is then assigned to a 0, and then I is less than numbers dot length. And then I'm going to have I plus plus. And inside of here, I'm going to have another for loop, which is for int j is then assigned to a 0. But in this case, if I started from a 0, it means it will compare 8 to the 8, which is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to compare 8 to the 11. So I'm just going to change this and make it a 1. And then now, in this case, I'm going to say that now j is less than numbers dot length minus 1. I don't want to go to the full. I want to go to this has to be minus an I. So this is because when this sits on the first one, I want it to always go until this far. And when it's sitting at the 2, I want it to go as this far. I want it to exclude the first 2. All right, so I'm going to put in the I there. Then here I'm going to say j plus plus. And then now inside here, we're going to use an if statement in order for us to check if it's greater than. So now we're going to say that now if the numbers, we're going to say at j minus 1 is greater than numbers at j. Then if that occurs, this is supposed to be numbers. So if we find that this number is greater than this one, we want to swap. If 11 is greater than 25, we want to swap. If 78 is greater than 72, which is true, we want to swap, and so forth. So now to swap the element, now we're going to start with the temporary value that you have created. I'm going to first have to give it numbers at j minus 1. Then I'm going to say numbers. Now at numbers, which is j minus 1, since I've now put it in a temporary value, I can now add something onto it. Then here I'm going to add numbers at j. Now I'm permanently deleting anything that is in j minus 1 since I've have it in a temporary value. So then now since I've added that number in the previous one, then I need to change numbers at j also permanently, but I'm taking the temporary value which I've put it temporarily, then now I'm storing it in numbers. So now in numbers at j, I then want to store the temporary value that I've set aside for the time being. And then now once I'm done with this, this should be sufficient in order for me to sort out my values. Then now I can then system that out that print line, the ordered numbers R. Then here I'm going to say arrays dot to string. Side here I'm going to say numbers for the argument. Then let's try this out. Then as you have it, it's able to sort it out, which is 2, 8, 11, means that it is actually working out. But this is what we call a bubble sort. Now, before I do the bubble sort, let me just also output here. I'm just going to copy this just to save time. Come here, paste. And then here I'm going to say the unordered numbers are. And that should be able to show me firstly the unordered numbers and also show me the ordered numbers. So the unordered numbers is 8, 11, 25, and so forth. But the ordered numbers are 8 to 2, 8, 11, 24, and so on and so forth and so forth. So now, the good thing about the bubble sort is that you can sort them out in an ascending order, and you can still also do it in a descending order. So let's try it out. If you want to change this whole thing, in order for it to do it in a descending order, we just have to change the sign, which is here from a greater than to a less than. That should be able to change the order. As you can see in this case, now is showing them in a descending order from the highest to the lowest. But let me just try and fully explain what is happening here. So what is happening here is that now we are creating two nested for loops. So the first for loop is going to count from a 1, meaning that it's going to jump from the, it is not going to compare 8 to the 8. We want to take the second number, the number that is next to the first one, which is a 11. And then 11 is going to be compared to a 8. And then we jump from 11, we go to 25. We're comparing it to what? To 11 and also 8 and so forth. 78, we're comparing it to 25, 11, and 8. So that is what the next second for loop, which is the nested for loop, is going to be doing inside there. So just be careful. Here is the trick. Whenever you get here, always make sure that you have it as numbers.length minus the I. So when we minus the I, simply just means that every time whenever we're comparing, if we have already sorted it out this side, we don't want to go back to it. Hence, we are minusing the I, because the I is going to start from a 0, it's going to go to a 1, and then it's going to go to a 2. As we are increasing from the total, we are minusing whatever that we have sorted out this side. We no longer want to focus on it. We want to then now continue and focus on 78, 2, 45, 24, and 100. So that is what this minus I trick is doing. So that is how you do it. And that is it from me for today. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And also comment on our videos. That is how we get to have ideas. Give us ideas on what exercise you want us to do. We're going to do it, and then we're going to post it on the channel. And that is it from me. Cheers.